Happy Sunday. Well, I mean, you're happy if you are not recovering from being at the Flying Pig Marathon. Big congratulations to everyone who attempted to race this weekend. I know for those of you who aren't aware or were busy watching the coronation festivities all day like I was, because, how am I supposed to make fun of it if I didn't watch it? I got to know what's happening. So for your information, the weather was atrocious in Pittsburgh. And also, sorry, not in Pittsburgh, in Cincinnati. Pittsburgh Marathon Weekend was this weekend as well. They had better weather, still wasn't totally optimal. They were scheduled to have amazing weather, and then everything changed. In Cincinnati, Flying Pig, where Christy Harris and Coach Takia were both in residence all weekend. It was just a disaster. It rained and rained and rained. There was a shelter-in-place order issued a few minutes before the race began. There's part of me that wants to question the way a lot of the decisions were made and the way the communications went out. But that feels unfair because I'm not there. I'm not a race. I haven't directed a race or been involved in underwriting the insurance contracts for races in over a decade. So I don't have any room to talk. What I am confused about as someone who has an app is if you had a company and a race and an app and needed to get information to everyone really quickly, why wouldn't you use that app to push a notification saying, hey, by the way, shelter in place has started. Hey, by the way, you might not want to start today. I don't know. There's got to be something in between hope no one notices it's raining and says nothing about it, and say something and run the risk that every single person registered is going to ask for a refund, even though they know that they signed away their ability to get one as part of the contract when they registered for the race. So I feel for everyone involved, especially Christy Harris. She finished in a little over 6 hours. And that's the fact that you did it all, man, is just tenacious AF. And I know that this was your second go at things and that you're probably tired of marathon training and was like, I'm just going to get this over with and take a break. Good on you. That's fine. I know Coach Nakia decided not to start, and we were talking about this last night. She was doing the pig with cheese. I forget, it has some cute name for the race, the stacked races of the weekend, where she was doing a 1 miler, a 5K, a 10K, and and a half. And last night I was driving to my fundraiser at my kid's school when she and I were talking back and forth, and she said, no, don't worry, I've got a plan. I'm going to walk to the start, and if I don't feel safe walking or just don't want to get wet, I will take an Uber to the start. And I looked at my husband and I looked at each other and we said, but if you don't feel safe walking, why would you take an Uber? Like, if there's that much rain, are you sure you're going to want to start and be out there for a really long time? And if you haven't seen, I've written blog posts about this in the past. I have, ranted and raved on podcasts about it in the past. You don't have to start a race, right? And once you start, you do not have to finish. I feel like everyone in the running world, or at least in the United States version of the running world, puts way too much emphasis on quitting. And we don't, without really defining what success, failure, or even really quitting can look like. Because to me, showing up and saying this isn't the right day, or this isn't the right thing for me, these aren't the right conditions, that's pretty badass, right? That is taking control of your day and your race and your body. And I'm all for that. I'm all for more autonomy, never for less. So with that in mind, whether you raced or whether you didn't, you made the right choice. Congratulations. I hope you're happy. I hope you got what you wanted out of the day. And if you didn't, do take a look. There are 2 blog posts that I've written in the past. Today, I spent most of the day playing around in the back end of Wix and found a way to automatically import, or a new function rather, that would automatically import all of my blog posts from Coached and Loved over to Fitness Protection. Many of them have now been duplicated. Oops. For better or for worse. But these are the 2 that I think are really, really pertinent, and you might want to visit them and flag them just so you have them for reference. One is, what would Coach MK do? And I talk very specifically about what I would choose to do. Granted, I wrote this when I was a lot fitter and racing quite frequently, and had the ability to do a lot more than I can do right now. So I understand, take it out with a grain of salt. This was written from a point of much more fit privilege than I have at the moment. But I talk very clearly about, like, if it's going to be, if it's 70 and humid, it's going to feel cold out there when you're wet. And then if it stops raining, that's bad. If the sun comes out, that's worse. We talk about the squish test and how much squish is in your shoes, and an idea of how heavy that shoe is going to be once it's waterlogged. I talk through some of the logistics and, try to be as non-judgmental as possible. Whatever you choose, I just want you to know what you're getting into, and sort of brace yourself emotionally, because our mental health is just cannot be separated from our physical health. And days like this, when the weather isn't working in your favor, we need to find ways to make peace with that and say to ourselves, what do I need to get? What is possible for me to get today? And then reconcile those two ideas, even if our heart is breaking. And so in the second blog post, perspective and potlucks, in that one, I tell, that looks like all one big one. Right on. Let me post those again. There we go. So luck, perspective, and potlucks is a note that I wrote to my racers. It was either 2015 or 2017, back when the Fitness Protection Program was just a Google group where I housed all of my one-on-one clients while I was working at Lifetime Run. And I would write them love letters every once in a while. And we had a large group of people running Las Vegas that year. And Vegas is a lovely race. It's a night race, but night in the desert in November can be a whole lot of things. Cold and windy is usually going to be on tap, though. So to that end, it was not, and it's a Sunday night. It's a lot of things that make it like a fun event, but not the sort of thing that you show up to for a PR. I know it's people just get caught up in that whole flat and fast equals PR idea, though, and don't really look at the context around it or separate the good information from the marketing. And so with that in mind, we had a lot of broken hearts that day. People had gone out like trying to qualify for the trials, the Olympic trials, trying to qualify for Boston. A lot of people had worked really, really, really hard, and their moment was stolen from them by 35-mile-an-hour winds. And so this was the first, had to have been 2015. This was the first note of this sort that I had to write to people saying, my heart is breaking with you. But this is how I want you to think about it, and what my advice for how to get through the night. And it starts with saying to yourself, that race, let's get nachos. So I hope you enjoy those two pieces of writing. Speaking of writing, if there's anything you want me talk about, and I know I ask for these things a lot, and sometimes you guys answer, sometimes you don't. I really would appreciate some feedback on this as I get into a mode of content creation. Again, I'm going to try to flex my writing muscles once more. Without overwhelming everyone. I'm well aware that a long time ago when we first started, we were generating way too much content and it was overwhelming for people. So let me know, is there a topic you want me to cover? Is there something you want to see? Anything along those lines that I can address what would be helpful, what's kind of missing? Email me, let me know, send me a DM, send me a text. I don't really care how you hit me up, just do, and let me know what you would like more of. And I will aim to please. We are unable to do podcasts in the near term. I am still waiting for determination in the lawsuit, but between now and then I can and probably do need to get back to writing, which I love, and talking about writing, which I love, and giving measured advice as which people, it seems like everyone's going to need as we get back into the swing of things being running, racing, and getting our hearts broke by weather, because that is really what races do. More than anything else, it is guaranteed heartbreak all the way around. Once in a while, you have a really great race. So congratulations to everyone who went out there and had their day. Oh, yay, someone's already sending something, and I'll come back to that in a little bit. So yes, if you're interested in working one-on-one, I've got a couple spots open, or I've decided to open up a few more. I believe I've mentioned that. Whether you are, I just want a little bit more accountability, want a little bit more interaction, whether you want a more customized view of what you're doing and how you're doing it, there are lots of different options to work with me more directly. Reach out and let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. Tell me anything, man. I'm here to take it in. Speaking, though, coming back to good news, because there is a lot. Oops, and I closed it. a lot of good news this week. 3 days at the fair is getting ready to begin, and it looks like they have ideal weather for the week. If you've not heard me talk about this race in the past, 3 days at the fair is wonderful. It is one of those events when someone described it to me, I was like, why in the world would you want to do that? And then I went and saw it, and I got it, and I love it. It is a multi-day event that takes place on a 1 mile paved loop at the New Jersey State Fairgrounds. And when I went for the first time in 2019, I believe it was 2019, first and only time I got to go. Then COVID hit. I was really shocked and impressed to see that the bathrooms were brand new. So imagine a situation where you can stop and start whenever you want, rest inside an air-conditioned trailer, all the free food, hamburgers and nachos, and brand new bathrooms and clean, well-lit showers. It's just incredible. I mean, you are not guaranteed a clean bathroom every mile of any race. I mean, you're guaranteed a bathroom or a honey bucket or something, and it's not every mile. It's not like this. So I have a lot of good things to say about 3 days at the fair. I believe all three ladies are in attendance this year, are gunning for 100 miles in different ways. Notably, Amanda Williams, who's coming back from knee surgery and has her sights set on the New York City Marathon later in the year. I'm proud of you and excited for you, Amanda. I'm excited for you, Melissa Heiser, and I'm excited for you, Adrienne. I cannot wait to see what you ladies do. If you don't follow us on Instagram, now would be a great time to start. You can keep up with all their exploits at the fair at Fitness Protection LLC is where we can be found. All right. Now getting into the weekly wins. Corrina Terry is going to be a grandma. Congratulations, Corrina. I'm thrilled for you. I cannot wait. By the way, when's the baby due? We need more details. If you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit more, whatever you can share, we would love to have it. We all need more things to celebrate. Karen Sutton over in the UK. Completed her first half since 2019. She said she was super proud of her grit today, as rebuilding post-COVID and a heavier version of myself has been so hard. I feel that. I'm not just heavier, I'm less strong. COVID ravaged my body in a very non-sexy way, and I am still learning all of the edges of my abilities at the moment, and it's really, really frustrating. So, but congratulations to you for powering through. You fucking did the thing. You are a badass, and you have a medal to prove it. She says it was cool to be back in a huge crowd of runners again. I've missed it so much. Onward and upward. I'm proud of you. That is real. That is real. That is true. I am proud of you, Karen. Congratulations, and I hope you were able to enjoy, whether you're a monarchist or Republican or, however you like to think of yourself in the UK. I hope you're able to at least have a good chuckle at some of the festivities happening in your country this weekend. I know I've enjoyed it for a lot of reasons. And if you'd like to chat offline, let me know. Amanda Williams and I have had a running commentary about back and forth between the crown and the coronation. And you've seen my Instagram stories. You can probably guess how I feel about this. Anyway, that's all I really have to say for the week. If you want to talk a little bit more, if your race was not what you wanted it to be, and you'd like to talk a little bit, let me know. I'm working on knocking out a few more pieces of writing for you guys that I never got to finish. One of them is a guide to race selection. I wrote this as a white paper. I intended to run ads to it a while ago, and then COVID hit, and a lot of these races don't exist anymore. So I'm having to go back through and make some adjustments, but that should be coming out in the next month or two. In the meantime, if there are any races that you would like to say, like, this is amazing, could you consider putting this in your white paper, let me know. Go take a look at the blog. I have a lot of course reports, marathon race reports, not talking about my personal experiences on these courses, but rather talking you through the course, either as a turn-by-turn race strategy, or if you're thinking, maybe I want to run this race, let's see what it entails. Going and looking at that section of the blog of the marathon course reports can also be really interesting to you as well. Anything that was written prior to all of these were written prior to 2019. And if any of them do need to be updated, I know the Houston Marathon needs to be tweaked a little bit. Please reach out and ping me, let me know. But other than that, I think that's all we have to talk about this week. Another tiptoe program the enrollment is already open. If you go and look at the pricing page at the programs page on fitnessprotection.com/plans-pricing, you'll see you can select tiptoe through the summer. We have it's a pretty cool program. I'm very proud of it. So it's the opposite of sunburn. All of the burn programs were meant to be pretty hard because that's what everyone was demanding at the time. Now, post-COVID, all of us struggling a little bit, either trying to get back into a habit, getting back, not even to where we were, but back to building a good foundation. Tiptoe is a great program for you. Go ahead. There's a code that went out in the last email with $25 off registration. Feel free to use it. If you can't find it, email me and I will give it to you. But Tiptoe, we have journal prompts every day, you can do them. You don't have to. I have weekly check-ins. You can do them. You don't have to. We have a Signal group, which I think is the strong. Signal is an app, a group chat app that functions a whole lot better. If you've ever had a group chat with people, some have iPhones, some don't, you know exactly how all the reactions and messy these things can get. Signal is a much cleaner way to manage a group chat, and it worked really well for us and liked it a whole lot, plus yoga with Coach Carrie. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. Please go check it out. We're going to be starting that the last week of May, first week of June, and I'll go through the middle of August. Anyway, that's it. That's all for the week. You're coached. You are loved. I hope you are safe and warm as well. And whether you ran, whether you're not, whether you're racing this year, whether you're not, I promise you, you're winning at life. Every choice you've ever made is the right one at the time, and no sense in looking back with regret. We look forward with conviction. And if you don't have enough, reach out. I'll give you some. Love you guys.